Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
What brings you in?
Well, I think it's time for me to do something about my work situation.
hmm What's going on?
Well, I'm just getting I'm frustrated because I don't know how to handle all the interruptions I have at work.
hmm Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I'll be doing an important uh, project, working on something, and either a coworker or my supervisor will come, and instead of asking if it's a good time, they just interrupt. They just start talking to me about something that they need done right now. So what I'm working on is not is postponed, and um, then I have to stop what I'm doing and pick up what they're doing, and it's just frustrating because I feel that their interruptions are more important than the work I'm doing. And yet, when I go to them with a question, I always make sure that that they can come back to me when they're not and it's when they have some free time so that we can talk about a situation.
Okay. So, why today? Like, why is today the right time to kind of talk about this and work on this problem?
Well, I'm just really frustrated by it, and it's just um, starting to cause me, anxiety about not being able to get my work done at when it needs to get done, because I'm under some time constraints.
Okay. So the time constraints is irritating, and the fact that others are not being cognizant of those constraints that you're working under, it's bothering you, and so you'd like to work with me on some solutions, or try to focus on what you could do instead?
Yes. I just feel like I need some tools or some guidance to maybe ask them if they could come back, or let them know that what I'm working on is just as important as what they're asking me to do, or just to ask if it's okay if they interrupt me. I feel like they don't care that they're interrupting me, that they're more important than what I'm doing.
It sounds like you'd like some tools focused around communication, and also to explore a little bit of why you're doing what you're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. Is that right?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I just know that it's making me not like them or like my job.
Okay. So I'm going to have you change a few of your statements that you've made and just see if you notice any differences after you've changed the statements.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to start with it's frustrating, and have you change that it's in that statement to an I.
I'm frustrated.
Okay. How do you feel now? Talking about it, it's versus the I. Or do you feel any different?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't feel. I mean,
I feel they don't care. I feel I, and you can change the they to an I. I feel I'm not cared for.
Okay.
Try it's making me not like them, or it's making me not like my job, and change that to an I.
I don't like them. I don't like my job.
So do you notice a difference, or do you feel a difference when you kind of do all of those together and then reflect on it?
I feel like it still makes me frustrated with the situation.
So take out the it makes me. And
I'm still frustrated with the situation.
My hope is that this is helping you become a little bit more direct with owning how it's affecting you and what your feelings are.
Yes. Okay. I see that.
Okay.
Yes.
So now
it kind of is more empowering.
Sure.
Okay.
And that's my hope. And
Okay.
that we don't allow the situation or anybody to kind of take away some of your own personal power of how you're feeling. Because when we say it really makes it external, but when we say I, we're talking about how it affects us directly.
Okay.
And so eventually what I want to do is I want to move into an approach of including how you're feeling and talking about and exploring the idea of boundaries a little bit.
Okay.
But for right now, I think that the idea of caring is really important. Your statement that you made about it's I don't feel I'm cared for by them, by what they're doing. If we
they care about me.
Yeah, if we reframe it.
Well, I don't feel that they care about me.
So I guess my question is the so what of that, right? So what if, what's in it for them to care about?
Well, my work quality suffers, and
what does that directly do to them because of your work quality?
Well, it comes back on them because then they're not as, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Gosh, they're not as successful because my work is suffering, because then there's more things that they have to do rather than, going back and fixing things. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Sure. And sometimes we really do have to focus on the I, changing it to I. But when we're working in a system, sometimes we feel like the I doesn't matter. And it's important, I think, to have an approach that combines parts of the system and parts of ourself in the approach.
Okay.
To approach this problem.
Right.
And it's not forgetting ourselves, or it's not saying we're not as good as everybody else. So therefore we need to do something that everybody else is not doing. But I want to explore that a little bit with you. And I think what you just said about, the what's in it for them, it's not a win-win right now. But I think there's a way that if we reframe for yourself, for your boundaries, and have kind of a discussion of that and work moving forward, I think you can possibly and positively move into looking at how they're kind of setting their boundaries. And I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can move forward. And at this point, you have two choices. You're on a road. If you continue to make the same choice that you're making, you're going to be in the same position that you're making.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what you can do, what's been frustrating you, and your work quality will continue to suffer, or you can do something different.
Yes, but I feel really bombarded.
Okay. And one road maintains the problem and probably will make it worse, and the other road is likely to help you if you give it a try. But I don't know particularly if that's true for you. I could be wrong and incorrect and not be connecting with you.
No, you are connecting with me. I feel a little more empowered by this, and I would like to try this approach.
Okay. All right. And so we're going to start, I want you to kind of think for a minute, and we're going to go back to what your ideas of your boundaries are.
Okay.
Okay. So earlier you said that you would like the tools to be able to ask your colleagues and supervisor to come back. And I'm wondering what personal boundaries you feel, what personal tools you need for your personal boundaries. If we think about what a boundary is and how to kind of use a tool to exercise our boundaries. What are some of those ideas that you have about boundaries?
Well, I don't want to come across, pushy or snarky, or I don't want to come across unprofessional.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to be able to, to ask them the same thing. Could you come back in 5 minutes, or could you give me a minute, or could we talk about this in a later on, or something like that.
You said you'd like to be able to ask them the same thing. Is that kind of going back to the double standard that you feel? Is that what they say to you? And
yeah,
okay,
yeah, they use those phrases all the time. If I ask to, if I could have, if I could show them something or ask them a question, they are not hesitant to say, give me, let me get back to you, or I can't right now. I'm in the middle of something important, or, so I want to be able to do that same thing to them without coming across like I'm better than they are.
Sure. So part of this approach is to stay close to the feedback that they're giving you, but to use it and adapt it so that it makes sense for you and what you're working on and what you feel you need. Whenever I'm going to encourage somebody to assert their boundaries or say their boundaries, I'm always, what we talked about with the I and the it, I'm not going to want it's, I'm going to want I's. And I'm also going to want to have you specify how many minutes you're going to want to talk with them in. So I think one of the ones you said is, I'll be right with you, give me a minute. Or can we work on that project can you give me another 20 minutes and I can come find you and we can work on that question or that project. Just see how I'm putting in a certain number of minutes.
Right.
And I'm not, it is interrupting you and you're still having to ask for what you need. But it's going to take practice, right, to ask for what you need in a way that makes sense for you, but is still staying with the feedback that you're getting from them.
Okay.
So, I mean, let's practice it right now. I mean, like, let's say I come to you with something really menial and small, but you're in the middle of something and you know that what I'm coming to you with is only going to take 5 minutes. What would you say to me?
Can I get back to you in 5 minutes?
Okay. And how did saying that feel?
It felt good.
Okay. I'm also, let's say I'm going to come to you with something that's going to take an hour, but you won't be able to start it for another hour.
I'd probably say something or ask if I could, because of what I was working on, if we could maybe talk about it in a couple of hours, because I need to try to get done what I'm doing.
Another idea I have is to say that you care about what they're coming to you for, but that you can't give it your fullest attention or your best attention for another whatever, or give it the attention you feel it deserves to enhance the quality of what they're coming to you for.
Right.
Because then that kind of shows like, I care about you. It's not go away you.
Right.
Right. So that's why the I statement's very important when you're connecting it to the feelings and the actions, because it's really focusing on you as a person inside, but also you're meeting them where they're at, because this is something that you had said you felt it was a double standard.
Right. I mean, because I'm a subordinate and they're the supervisors, and it's everything that I do has time constraints, And if I don't get one thing done, then something else can't happen. And so there's all of these it's kind of a domino effect. So it's hard when I'm working on something that needs to be done within a certain amount of time, and they come and they say, they interrupt me, and then I have to stop what I'm doing there and start thinking about what they're talking, so I need to be able to do something like that. I need to be able to say, I can't right now, but I will be able to, and after I'm done with this task.
Sure. And I think also it's kind of hard to say when you put it in terms of I can't or I'm not able to, that makes the other person maybe think you don't have competence or you won't. It's more important, I think, to put yourself in a position of power where I care about what you're coming to me with. However, to give you the attention you and I feel it both deserves, this is what I need to do. Can we do that?
Okay. I can try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of work to make sure that you're saying that you care.
Right.
And also, let me just finish what I am doing. Sometimes if you're stuck in that pattern of thinking you absolutely have to stop what you're doing and do what they're asking you to do, I'm guessing you're doing that because of some way of being cooperative,
right,
or some way of being, what is it, want to not upset the
right. I want to be liked. I don't want to be known as a employee that doesn't get along with her coworkers. I don't want to be insubordinate. I want to be that matters. So, and I am more probably, I guess I'm resentful because I want to be more assertive. I want to be more like them. And of course I care because my name is on the project too.
Sure.
So but I think the caring part of it, because, being able to say, I realize that this is important, and therefore let me finish this so that I can give your issue more attention. Or the attention it deserves.
I also think what you said about wanting to be a good coworker and not wanting to be subordinate kind of comes down to having tact, or exercising your tact that you have.
Right.
And maybe it's the way that you kind of view being tactful.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that, I mean, I guess I try to be, professionally tactful, but I don't, sometimes I fall short. And I don't want anybody to think that I am better than them, or that I know more than they do, or anything like that. I want to be, I want to be a good part of the team. So,
yeah, I think that how they are setting their boundaries, if you can pay attention to some of that, and understand the culture a little bit more in terms of maybe how you need to adapt to it, that will be able to give you more concrete ways of communicating and expressing those boundaries that you have for you.
Right.
So that way it's not, go away, I don't care about you.
Right.
And you're putting in there that you do care.
Right.
And that you're part of a team. But you're still not forgetting about what's going on with them.
Makes sense.
Okay. Was that helpful to you?
Yes.
Okay, well, great. Thanks so much for meeting with me.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Okay. Are we done?